All right, so I'm gonna paint this picture for y'all. It's 2001. It's December 15th, 2001 to be exact. I just turned 10 years old. I'm sitting in the back seat of my dad's car wearing the brand new fresh pair of Timberland boots he gave me for my birthday and his nice orange coat with the fur with the hood. The hood had the fur on it. A lot of guys, we were rocking them back then. That was in style. And we were going our way to Dave and Buster's for my birthday to celebrate. My parents, they were in the middle of a breakup. They got back together off and on. They were married the whole time, and they actually divorced eventually, officially when I was in eighth grade. That summer they made it official. They got their divorce or whatever. But they always fought back and forth, and this was on one of their breaks. And my dad was supposed to take me to Dave and Buster's, and my mom, she was telling him, no, you're not taking him anywhere because you said blah, blah, blah. And I looked down at my feet and I was like, here they go. They about to fight. Sure enough, my dad, she finally argued him down so much, he just said, you know what, forget it. So at that point, he's telling me he's sorry. And he's like, I guess I can't take you. And so he gave me some money and I got out his car and went back into the apartment with my mom. And that was one of the worst birthdays I can remember. But that really upset me because just growing up, just realizing like, man, it's so many times I wanted to just say forget it. I wanted to give up, even at that age, 10 years old. Mind you, I'm in the fourth grade. And I'm just like, I wanted to give up on life already because I had been through so much. You got to think about all the surgeries, all the, when I got to school finally, I started to get bullied behind it. And I was all scrawny and smaller than the other boys. And so I had to deal with that. And then home life, my parents fighting, other things that I saw and witnessed in the environment that I was growing up in. And just dealing with all that, man, I just wanted to just say forget it. And then living with family members when my parents broke up, always being with my mom. I always wanted to be with my dad. Like, he was always active in my life. He was always there. I can never say I had an absent father. I can't say he didn't do what he was supposed to do for me and my siblings, because he did, and he was. Like, he was always there. But it just taught me so much about you got to persevere. You just got to keep going no matter what. And so that, like, developing a sense of purpose and realizing, like, life is bigger than you. And then I had to learn that I don't live life for myself, to be specific. I as I got older, I started realizing like I'm going through certain things so I can help other people. And so your testimony is gonna help other people. So whenever you going through things, yeah, it don't feel good in the moment, but when you come out of it, you're gonna be able to help somebody else that's dealing with something very, very similar, and you're gonna be able to help them get through those similar situations. And so that's what helped me realize, like, no, I have to keep going, even though it hurts, even though this does not feel good in the moment. You have to keep going. And so from that in fourth grade, I attended three schools. I went to Highland Elementary because it was at one point my parents, we moved back in with my grandma, my dad's mother, and my grandparents, my dad's mother and his father, and we were living in their basement. And so I had missed a chunk of school. I was doing really bad in school, and at one point, my teacher, we had a test, and he read my answers in front of the class. He didn't say my name, but in that moment, he was reading off the answers that I wrote down because I had no idea, the answers to the questions on the test, and he read my answers in the front of the class. And at that moment, I never hated anybody in my life, but at that moment, I hated that man with everything in me. Because he made me feel small. He made me feel stupid. And I'm just like, I'm going through so much at home. I couldn't study for a test. Or I didn't even have my own bedroom. We had my grandma's basement. And there were two couches and a TV. And my parents had one couch. Sometimes I had the couch. Sometimes I had the floor. And it was just a big open space. I didn't have time to study. I didn't have privacy. I didn't have, my own space to focus on school and things like that. So I was doing bad in school. I ain't no lie, I was doing bad. But he didn't take that into consideration. So that really made me mad. That really upset me. I was like, man, I hate this dude. And to this day, I don't even remember his name because I attended that school for like the first 2 or 3 months of fourth grade. From there, my parents had a fight because they were together at first when we were all living in my grandparents' basement. It's crazy how we always say grandma's house when she had granddad too, and they were married and all that. But we say grandma's house, granny's house. But when we were living in my grandma's basement, they had a fight, had a big falling out. My mom ended up taking us, moving us to the projects in the city. We were staying with her sister, uh, in St. Louis City in the Peabody Projects, and I attended Peabody Elementary. Mind you, this was a rough, terrible, gang infested, crime infested neighborhood. So I started attending school there. These kids were rough, uh, didn't care about anything. I got picked on because of my shoes, my clothes. Mind you, we had to wear uniform, but everybody didn't wear the same shoes. So I got picked on for my shoes, my uniform clothes, because we didn't have a wash and dryer in the projects. We had to go to the laundromat, and sometimes we couldn't make it. So I had to wash my clothes in the tub or in the sink and then dry them out, hang them to dry, and wear them again all that week. So just dealing with that. And I didn't even finish fourth grade in that school. We moved again. I went to, now I was attending Baden Elementary School, and I finished out fourth grade at Baden Elementary School. That school is now shut down, but that's also in St. Louis City. And so got picked on at that school. But I flourished a little bit. I had a little more friends and things like that. But I also had another surgery while attending Beta Elementary School, so I missed a lot of school at that point as well. Just continuing from the same thing that happened in the first video, where I talked about how I drank the chemical or whatever. But that was from that. So I had another surgery in fourth grade. So 3 schools in fourth grade. Fifth grade, I started attending Laclede Elementary School. My mom finally found us an apartment. We moved out and we got the apartment. And she's dating some guy. And so fifth grade was my parents, they kind of, after the guy she was dating, my mom and my dad got back together. So my dad moves back into the apartment in our new apartment with us, while I'm attending Laclede Elementary School. And one night, I'm asleep, but my big sister, I wake up, my dad's gone, all his clothes are gone, shoes gone. I'm like, what happened? So my big sister, she came to tell me, like, you didn't hear that last night? All right, hold on 1 second. She like, you didn't hear that one night? Shh, I'm making a video. She's like, you didn't hear that one night? Last night, they were so loud. How did you not hear that? I'm like, what? They were out in the parking lot of the apartments fighting. And there was a crowd of guys laughing across the street, egging them on. Like, so embarrassing. I'm glad I wasn't awake to even see it. But she said they had a big fight. My dad hit her around, like smacked her around. And she was drunk. She was hitting him and a bunch of stuff, man. It was just crazy. But he ended up moving out. So I was just like, man, so dealing with that. And after fifth grade, I finished fifth grade at that one school, Laclede Elementary, in a rough, I lived in what's considered Pine Line, still St. Louis, but also a bad neighborhood, gang infested, all of that. So just dealing with that, man. Sixth grade, I attend Blewett Middle School. That's in the city of St. Louis, North Side. I actually had a little fun at Blewett middle school. I also started fighting when I got to Blewett. Now I had a little fight in third grade, but that don't count. You little shorties, like you kids, like. But Blewett, sixth grade, I had stopped having my surgeries, and so I'm like, I'm gonna start defending myself because nah, this ain't that, and that ain't this. So they tried to bully me in sixth grade, Blewett middle school, and that was the first time I fought back. This boy named Richard had these hazel brown eyes, and we had like this coat room, and so we decided we would meet up in there and fight. And we actually had a substitute teacher that day. I'll never forget this man because he had this limp, and he said it was from a drunk driver that crashed into him while he was standing on the sidewalk. A drunk driver jumped the curb and hit him, and ever since then he had that limp. And it was a big, stocky black man. But he explained that to us in the class, but we wasn't really listening to him. He just sub like substitute. That's the day to be bad. So we wasn't paying him no attention, man. So me and Richard got into it over something. Oh yeah, because he kept saying how his brother had all this stuff, and I was like, "Are you lying?" And because I'm like, he just kept going on about. I'm like, man, we don't believe you. Like, so he started threatening me. I'm like, I'm threatening him back, and we decided to meet in the coat room to fight. So that was my first fight. Oh, my friends egging me on. I remember it clear as day, and my friend like hit him in the ribs. It was so crazy, man. But we was little boys, sixth grade. We all skinny, scrawny. We can't really do no damage to each other, but we fought, and then we walked down to in school suspension, fought in there, because I wanted to have the last hit. And at the end, we were like standing, grabbing each other shirts and like fists raised up. And the teacher, he stopped us in the room or whatever. But it was crazy, man. Sixth grade, I actually had to do summer school because, no, I finished sixth grade. Everything was cool. No, yeah, I did have to do summer school that year. But it was because our social studies teacher failed me. And I really didn't like this man, Mr. Warren. I couldn't stand him. He was like 400 pounds. I mean, this man was huge. But I felt like he had something against the little boys in class because he always would warm up to the little girls, and they always sitting up at his desk and all that. But the boys, he failing everybody. Like, he didn't care about the boys at all. Every day, he didn't teach anything. This was our social studies teacher. All he did every day when we walked in, it was something written on the board to read in the book and to do the questions in the book, the 10 questions after the reading. He didn't teach anything. And at the end of the year, we had a project we had to do. I did it. He failed me. And for that reason, I had to do sixth grade or repeat. I had to do summer school or repeat the sixth grade. So that summer, I went to summer school. It was cool. I liked it, whatever. Seventh grade, stuff started happening. Like, friends started committing crimes. Boys, we getting taller now, and they want to join gangs, and I called myself joining one. We all just being little boys, just being followers. That's what we were doing. We were being followers, and so I called myself being one, being in the gang or whatever. Wasn't really doing nothing for real. But I started hearing stories about friends running from the police, getting the cars flipped over, being locked up. I'm like, man, nah, this ain't for me. Cause nah, like, I remember we went to the Mayday parade one year, and around this time, and my dad, we were just watching the parade, and I was with him at the time, and it just a shootout happened like right in front of me. Like, they just started shooting, and police were riding horses chasing the guys in the park or whatever. And my dad just grabbed me and he pushed me up against the tree, and he just stood there like blocking any stray bullet that could potentially hit me. So I never forget that day. I thought I was in a movie. They just started shooting. Like, it was, I think, some Crips and the police and some bloods, and they were trying to fight, and it just went left. And I remember because Gangsta Boo was on one of the floats that were in the parade before she, of course, she recently passed away, but she was there in St. Louis at the time at that parade. So if you look up like Gangsta Boo Mayday Parade, St. Louis, you probably might find it. But on that day, it was a shootout, and I was there, and my dad threw me up against a tree and stood in front of me and protected me. From that point on, I'm like, man, this is my guy. This is my dad. Like, my dad was always there. But 7th grade, it wasn't really eventful after that. Like, I started wising up because I'm still living in the hood in the city, and I'm walking down the street sometimes, and I'm seeing like homeless people sleeping on a bench. Like, you walking and you just see a pile of clothes on a bench, and you get closer and closer, and you see that it's not clothes, it's a person with clothes on, and they got a cart full of stuff that this is their belongings. Like, this is how they live, this is their life. And I told myself, never. Like, if I stay in this environment, or if I do what my friends are doing, this is gonna be my future. And I was able to take myself mentally from that environment and to look down like, this ain't what I want. This is not the life that I want to live. And so I started thinking like, man, what's my way out? Like, and I realized maybe school. Like, I was like, somebody had told me education is something they can never take away from you. Your knowledge, what goes into your head, something they can never take away, and you can use that to get you to where you want to be in life. Somebody told me that early on, and from that point on, it stuck with me. I'm like, yeah, like I could really do something with my life. But at the same time, I was getting a lackluster education because of the school. The public school system is horrible. It's terrible. We had second, third hand books. The books were falling apart. The teachers didn't really care about us because they were thinking we had no future. At one point, I had a teacher tell my friend that I was going to be dead by the time I turned 16. And it was just bad, man. But I can remember like some of the memories, like me and all my boys, we would sit in class and just would think like, man, when I grow up and I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna have this in my house. When you walk in, it's gonna be a big staircase and you have a big fish tank. And we used to really sit and talk like this in class. Like, I really wish I could remember or look up and find out where some of those guys are today. But I saw a few of their mug shots, and I know they're not in a good place. But I thank God for hiding me, like spiritually. He took me out of that situation, and I thank God that I'm not there anymore. But I'm gonna continue on from 7th grade in my next video, man. Thank y'all for watching. God bless. This is just my story, just opening up to y'all about my life, my story. But it's mainly gonna be lifestyle, male content, fitness content on here. That's it, man.